I turn my weapon on him, and dude, again, this is one of those memories that's so, so vivid. I'm flipping my selector lever from safe to fire, and I'm beginning to squeeze the trigger. It's almost like I had a good angel and a bad angel on my shoulder.
Did you engage anybody in Panama?
Yeah, so I write about it in my book. The very first thing that I recall was, and I'm pretty sure this was first because this would make sense to be first. Was yeah, I'm pretty sure this was first because we needed to gain a foothold, and there was a building that we needed to secure. We needed to get inside this building and begin clearing it, and we were responsible for clearing the barracks. So we needed to pin down the Panamanian Defense Forces so they couldn't reinforce the airfield, and then clear the barracks, and kill anyone that resisted, capture anyone that was ready to give up. And before we got to the barracks, there was this guard shack, and it's cement guard shack. It's completely typical of what you see. It's still like that in Central America. You know what I mean? The cheap cement with the little um, red clay roof on it. Um, and we start maneuvering up on that thing, and so there's the road, and we're kind of in kind of a, like a regular. There's kind of ditches on each side, and we're all kind of anchored on one side, and then the machine gun is on the other side of the ditch, and we're kind of maneuvering up on this guard shack, and all of a sudden, uh, a little pistol. It was like a snub nose 38. The dude, we see a hand come up, and he starts like he pull, the snub nose 38. And I'm looking at that because it's all lit up. It's a guard shack with the arm to control traffic. And I'm thinking, does this guy have any idea what's happening? Like, dude, there's a squad of Rangers coming after you with a machine gun. Like, what do you think you're gonna do with a revolver snub nose 38? You know? But he boom, boom, boom. And then it stops, and we continue to advance. And then an M16, because again, Panama was our friends. They're not AK-47 guys. And he just starts spraying. So now it's like, okay, this guy voted. He's done. So we start engaging, um, and I yell at my squad automatic weapon gunner, M249 machine gun, and I say, "Hey, man, get suppressive fire down on that thing. We're gonna bound around." And he shoots up. He's shooting up high above the guard shack, and I'm yelling, "Bring your fire down! Bring your fire down!" And he brings it down onto the roof. I'm like, "Bring your fire down! Bring your fire down!" And it doesn't ever like get lower than the roof. So I switch over. So his name was Hale. I switch over to Ray. I say, "Ray, finish this." He has a M203 grenade launcher. And Ranger Ray from Moultrie, Georgia, that dude was a really good soldier, and he was a sniper with that M203. So he drops around right in the guard shack. Not easy to do. He drops it right into the guard shack. Boom, it goes off, and then we assault through, and we get to the guard shack, and the team leader is in the lead. So me and a couple guys behind. We turn to look at the guard shack, and the dude's not there. The 380 is laying on the ground. The M16 is like in pieces because of the 203 had broken it up. And I'm like, where the hell did he go? And I turn to look, and he's lying in the grass. Like if he still would have held on or whatever, he I mean, you know. So I turn, and he's lying in the grass. And he's from me to you away. I just didn't see him in the dark. And he's lying down facing that way. And I can smell that he wet himself and crapped his pants. And he's wearing a t-shirt and like some loose, I think they were fatigue pants. And I think he had flip-flops on. So, like he was not the guy like dressed to guard to be in that guard shack. I don't know what it was. Anyway, I remember being angry, and I flip around, and I remember like being angry that, and this dude could have killed me. Like he's facing the wrong way, but man, he got the jump on me. And he turns around, He's on his back facing away, and he kind of turns around and looks at me, and I turn my weapon on him, and dude, again, this is one of those memories that's so vivid. I'm flipping my selector lever from safe to fire, and I'm beginning to squeeze the trigger, thinking in my head, where do I shoot him? Like he's because it's his our targets. You don't shoot the backs. We don't have targets with backs. We have targets with fronts, right? Like you shoot their front, but his back is to me, and he's turning it. So I'm thinking like, do I shoot him in the face? Do I shoot him in the back? Where's the right place to shoot this guy? And I've described this before. It's almost like I had a good angel and a bad angel on my shoulder, and I'm trying to figure out like what's the right place to shoot this guy. This is weird. I've never shot someone in the back before. I've never shot anyone, period, but target wise. And this voice in my head is like, hey man, this dude is a non-combatant. Like clearly he's he's afraid for his life, you know? And the bad angel's like, this is the same dude that just threw rounds at you guys. You know what I mean? And the good angel's like, is it though? And the bad angel's like, of course, look, like it's clear as day, it's the same guy, kill him. And the good angel is saying, take him captive. Don't kill him, you know? And I remember this discussion in my head, dude. And the bad angel's like, this is war. This is war. He shot at you. It's time for him to die. And again, this is all happening you know what I mean? In that amount of time. And then finally, I very distinctly remember like the good angel saying, literally, the night is young. There'll be plenty of killing to do. And that like appealed to my logic. I was like, yeah, there'll be plenty of killing. This guy doesn't need to die. He's we'll capture him. So I hit him in the back of the head, and we cuff him, and he becomes our very first prisoner. And then uh, that happened, and then so we now bypassed that guard shack. We get to the building that we're supposed to get a foothold in, and again we're very brute strength versus surgical capacity. We shoot a M203 through the door to breach the building, and again, not really thinking through the repercussions of that. We shoot a law, it breaches the door, dudes start running out of the building, and we start shooting the guys that are running from the building. Some of them armed, some of them not. I bring it up because the first person I shot was like five of us did. You know what I mean? Like they're running, and we're all like tracking and shooting and shooting and shooting, and then the guy drops, and you and then you don't know, like, so even when you're in the room, you're shooting, it's happening so fast. So I guess I do have to backtrack a little bit on as far as the cast. I certainly didn't have the heightened awareness. So because there's so many of us, we're overwhelming them with force. Two or three guys would shoot the same dude. So I would say the first half a dozen people that I ever shot, so did five or six other dudes. So it never had like that ownership. You know what I mean? Until I got sniper responsibilities, where like exactly who shot this guy. I did.
So, going back to the guy in the guard shack,
Yeah.
and you spared him, obviously.
Yeah.
And it seems like the right call. Just at face value to me right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
meaning,
yeah.
meaning. But did that dilemma ever come up again where you spared somebody?
Yes, but not like that. Like again, that it takes me 3 minutes to explain what happened in my head. Um, it really became accelerated. I mean, where you'd make those decisions. There certainly were decisions that you're making. I've had plenty where you're select a lever off safe to fire, squeezing the trigger, and you make a different call. I had one event in Afghanistan um, that I actually jerked the weapon away. So we were doing the village. It was one of those things, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Where like it's just a handful of us, and he'd be like, "Hey, man, like we're gonna have to do the whole village." And what I mean by that is like the bad guys are so intermixed with the non-combatants that it's like you're gonna have to clear the entire village to find them, and it's gonna be a mess. And it was one of those where we were doing the village, and I was engaging somebody down this kind of road alleyway type thing, and this dude popped out, and I turned to shoot him, and he was an old man with the red, is it red or orange that they color their beards? I can't remember. It was daylight. Um, and but I'm like boom, 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 and stuff's hitting, and like stuff's hitting around me, and this dude just walks out, and I flip to him, and I yank the bullet like right at the last minute because this was all happening. So I yanked the gun, and I actually I remember it like two to three rounds right in the wall next to him, and this dude looks at it, and he just walks past me.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the interview. As you could probably tell, this is a brand new channel. So if you got anything out of this at all, please like the video, leave me a comment, tell me what you thought, tell me who you'd like to see on the show. I see every like, I read every comment, and I appreciate all of it, especially in the beginning, because as you know, that kind of support goes a long way on these platforms. So most importantly, I have some awesome guests coming up in the future for interviews. So please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of them. But again, thank you for your time. Appreciate the support and hope to see you again soon.